if you had compared 1957 and 2023, in 1957, people were happier than they are today. If you look at the kind of happiness studies which are done today, I think 30, 40 years, none existed. If you look at most of the preachers, if we say, they talk about a joyous life, they talk about being happy in life. So we have made massive strides in technology. For example, we can sit in a room and order food, we can order clothes, we can talk to anybody in a different country. But somewhere down the line, I think there is a problem. There is more unhappiness in the world today. So, this is the time for us to reflect that yes, we have done a lot in terms of development, but have we really progressed as a race? Now, unless there's a balance in each of this, I think the world is going to be a really tough place for all of us. Last month, I was actually addressing a bunch of millennials, and if you look at it, Darwin's theory of evolution, right? You are a more evolved race. You are better, you are smarter than us. But if you look at it, while you have the latest gadgets, you have more comfort. Somewhere down the line, we are seeing that there is more unhappiness. We are seeing more cases of mental health. We are seeing more suicides. Not that people are not able to handle it, but somewhere down the line, I think the purpose of life is actually getting diverted somewhere. Remember, change is not always progress. That is where we are thinking that if we dominate over society, if we dominate over nature, if we have the latest technological advances, we will be successful. In fact, a very interesting article which said that in the 1900s, a grandfather would have never bothered. He knew that his granddaughter is going to be very happy. But today, people are actually thinking whether the generations coming after us, are they going to be happier or not? So we will look at certain cases where we had a lopsided development, and because I said balance is what is very, very important in life. Let's look at agriculture. First, when man came to this earth, he was more of a carnivorous person. Then we got into agriculture. Between 1960 and 2023, the amount of arable land has increased by just 20%. But we have made 150% improve in productivity. We have enough food to feed the world. We have actually can feed 10 billion people in the world. Our population is just 7 billion. But if you look at it, so many people go without food. While we have excess food, if we had really managed our production, managed our distribution, I think this is where the problem is. And the unfortunate part is the top 1% of the world today controls 43% of the wealth. This divide is a problem, because if you have more unemployment, if you have these kind of things, the crime rates are going to increase. There are going to be problems in the society which we have forgotten. So while we have done great in terms of agriculture, we have our genetically engineered seeds, and the strange part is if you look at any organic food, it uses natural fertilizer. But the way organic food is getting expensive, I think that's beyond logic, because ideally, because we are using less of fertilizer, less of pesticides, I think this is where the problem is. So we need to really think about it, that while we have done massive strides in productivity, where is the gap? Why are still people going without food? Climate change, again, this is the way you know where we are. Ideally, when you support an earth, you need definitely resources, because you will need to consume resources. But as I stand today, you need 1.8 earths to support one earth. It is not the consumption of resources which is the problem. It is the rate of consumption. In fact, if you in UK, the kind of clothes which people have bought, it is enough for 6 generations. So that is the where we are looking at. If you look at it, there is floods everywhere. There are erratic weather conditions. And there's a very interesting book, Man and Nature by Professor Syed Nasir. He's 90 years old today. He's from the University of Iran. He said that we always thought that we will dominate nature. But the fact that nature has its own way of looking at things, nature will always degenerate. The idea was to coexist. And today, if you look at the Himalayas, the lopsided development is actually leading to a very different climatic conditions. The fact that we should coexist with nature, I think we have stopped thinking that. And if you look at the scientific based target of 1.5 degrees centigrade, if we really don't do anything, Earth will still exist, humanity will not. Yes, we are seeing wars, but the next war, which is a World War III, the humanity has to fight together, because if it is we are trying to put a boundary condition that it's developed country versus developing countries, this is not going to yield anything, because you are just protecting your own economy. As I said, Earth will continue to exist, humanity will not. Moving to conflicts now, if you look at the history of mankind, earlier you had so many kingdoms, and typically the kings used to fight among themselves because they wanted a greater territory. Then we moved to almost a bipolar world with the US and the Soviet Union, and there was some kind of order. There were conflicts, but less of them. But today, if you look at it, it's a multipolar world. The Russia-Ukraine war, nobody thought that it will go for so much time. What is happening in Israel and Palestine? Similarly, what is happening in the Red Sea as I speak here? That the container rates have gone up because there are people who are attacking these vehicles. If you look at the tolerance level of humanity, we have really are not tolerant anymore. If you look at the kind of road rages, the kind that fact that people are willing to kill anybody, the kind of incidents which we are seeing all the time, I think we are seeing a lot of conflicts. While we have developed as a race, but we are having more conflicts, and this conflict is actually becoming catastrophic. That is the problem which we are into, and this is a serious concern for humanity. Now let's look at water. The fact that we take it for granted. The way I grew up in a very small village. It's in Jharkhand, and the way we consumed water, we had a filter water plant, and we always consumed water from the tap. But today, if you look at it, we are all into packaged water. And now countries like Singapore and Germany, they are saying that we should drink water from the tap. So we have gone one full cycle, and because the way we take it for granted, because we usually don't pay for the water which we use for our other purposes. And in fact, we are doing a study with the California University, where we are looking at the polluted rivers in India. There are 351 rivers in India which are polluted and cannot be consumed. Out of them, 51 of them are in Maharashtra. So we are working on this, where there's a sensor which is attached to a boat. It actually picks up pollution data, and this data is being consumed by the government, various state governments, so that at least we take a, because remember, we have 70% of the earth is water, but that is all saline water. You cannot consume it. The technology to desalinate sea water is very, very expensive. The only source which we have is water which is from the freshwater river or from the rains, which again is polluted. So this is again going to be a very serious concern, and already we are seeing glaciers melting. We are seeing already the world is in a very different state. I think these are the things, while we have developed one side, the other side, these are the challenges, and if we don't address this, I think this is where we will have a problem. Technology, we have made massive strides in technology. Gone are the days when you had to had a trunk call, because earlier you did not have mobile phones. Now, a very interesting study which says that we are spending 4 hours average in a day on social media. While whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, we don't know, but what has been seen that people who spend more time on the social media are isolated. While you may be connected to the technology, you are having less friends. While we were during the COVID generation, we looked at things which were done virtual because we did not have a choice. But if you look at it, people are looking at coming back to work. People are looking at having more meaningful experiences. People, the fact that we are having this conversation, I think there will be high tech, but you really cannot replace human touch. So while we can talk about AI, we can talk about generative I think, but generative AI assumes that everything on the internet is 100% correct. So, but if you look at it, there's nothing which can actually get better than a human brain. So it's very important that we have a balance here, because humans and machines will actually coexist. So, to sum it up, we have all heard Tolstoy's story. How much land does a man need? So, there's a peasant who actually had a very small piece of land, and he became a little greedy. So, he wanted more land. So, he got up into a contract with somebody who said that from sunrise to sunset, you will go across running, and once you come back to the starting point, whatever ground you have covered, the land will be all yours. So this guy thought that he will become very rich, so he started his journey. But suddenly he realized that it was about 10 minutes to sunset, and he was still away from the starting point. So what he did is, in this mad rush, he started running to reach the starting point, and he collapsed. He was dead. So while he had a lot of land, but he did not live to actually enjoy it. We are in a similar situation today. We have made massive strides. We have sent spacecraft to Mars. We have technology everywhere. If you say it's art of possibilities is everywhere. But somewhere down the line, we have people who are unhappier. We have people where the crime rates have increased. We have people where tolerance level has really decreased. People are willing to win at any cost. We are not really, our system has not trained us how to handle failures, because failure is a way of life. And this is the unfortunate part, is because people are not able to take it, there are suicides, there are mental conditions. So it's very important that things will fail, but the idea is you will fall 7 times, but thing is you have to get up the 8th time, because this is one life, and it's very, very important that we were here for a very limited duration. But the idea is we are here for a purpose. Let's make an impact so that when we are not there, people will remember us. Thank you so much for your time. It was a privilege and honor to be here. Thank you.